What is up, BBT? I am going to take you on a trade on Ford in the stock trading simulator. Someone called this out to me in the chat this morning, and I didn't actually look at it, and I wish I would have. They just asked if it was on my list. I said no, and I wish I would have looked at it. So we have some of the data from this morning now up on the simulator, so I'm able to look at what happened in the morning on this, and we can take the trade. So I'll show you what I see here. So on Ford, on the daily, you can see that we kind of have this sort of situation happening, right? So we've got this nice daily range set. So it was stuck in this area for a while. It's broken below it. It's tried to get back in. Now we're kind of below it again. So I definitely like this level, and I like this level. And so I don't want to play anything in here, but I want to see what happens at these two levels. And if I look over here on the 2-minute chart, which, by the way, so this level here that I had drawn is right around like 1730-ish, so we'll just say like 1730. And if you look at the smaller time frame, so I start with the big and then I go to the small. So I find my ranges on the bigger time frame, and then I want to see is it near that on the smaller time frames. So 1730 is here, and we can see that it's broken up in the pre-market. It's just kind of chopping around right here, and we're just kind of hanging out around 1730. So I want to see what happens at this level. When the volume comes in, does it come in and does it push the stock to the downside below this level? Or as the volume comes in, do we hold this level and are we back into the range, right? So we're looking, oops, not that. We're looking like here and we're looking here. And so the volume, when it comes in, does it push us down or does it push us back in? And that is what I'm looking for. So we will take it to, let's put this one on the 5-minute. And then we'll take this over to, 2 minutes good. And let's just hit play and see what happens. All right, so we're just watching it at the open. We're hanging out around, we're near 1730, so I don't want to put it on 10 times speed because we're close enough to this price level that I want to see what happens here. And what's interesting about this is the volume here is 250,000, which is decent, but for Ford, if I go over to the 2-minute here and we drag it over to yesterday, if we look at the opening 2 minutes on Ford yesterday, right, so here we are, this sort of area, right? We've got over 2 million shares up in here. And down on here, now look at that, we're at 250. So volume is relative, right? Depending on the stock. So 250 might be really high for another stock, but for Ford in general, for it to be in play, 2 million is that's kind of where you want to be, like up in the millions, right? So this is pretty low for Ford. So let's just get this going again. We'll go to the 5-minute. I like to have the 5-minute going and the smaller time frame. It just kind of keeps me in check, I think, because sometimes crazy things happen on the 5 that aren't looking the same on this chart or that chart. So it's always good to have a couple of them. All right, so we are going, and volume is still not super high, but we're just kind of watching this next candle. We're getting closer to 1730, so we want to see what happens there, right? And it's coming down. All right, so we've bounced off of 1730, right? So we threw this wick almost exactly to the level that I like. So now I'm just watching. We still don't have super high volume relative, right? In comparison to what it normally does. And then all of a sudden, I'm just gonna pause it right here. All of a sudden we get this volume. So we've got 250-ish, and then we surpass 1.5. So now we are cooking with gas, and we've bounced off this level. So if this type of volume came in and we broke below this level, I would now be interested in a short. This type of volume came in as we pushed up off of this level, and now I'm interested in a long. So we will hit play. I'm just gonna buy. And if I was playing this in real life, and wasn't talking, I probably would have bought right as that volume came in, closer to the level. So you can see here, my entry is around 1745. I probably, if this would have bounced here as that volume came in, I would have triggered my order, or you can always set a limit order out too, right? But so I would have hit in and been at 1732 probably, somewhere around there, maybe 1735 by the time I got into this. And I used 10% of the ATR. So Ford's ATR is about 1.14 or something like that. So I'm thinking like 10 to 11 cents. So at 1745, I'm thinking, 1735, that's my stop down there. Had I actually hit in right as this happened, maybe got in around here, my stop would have been, somewhere down here. So gives it a little bit of room to breathe in case it kind of bounces for a minute, right? Well, I guess up here in case it kind of bounces. And then let's just hit go. And what I'm looking for now is where am I partialing? And if I go to the 60-minute chart, you can see that, just pause it here. You can see that there is this sort of range here, right? So this is basically the daily range, but it's on the 60-minute chart. So we're looking at that, and we can see that, we are right at the bottom of it. This is where, the level that we liked off of the daily. So we're right here, and we're breaking up into it. So now, I would love to see it push to the top of this range and get a full, range play here. But I definitely want to be sure to take a partial probably in the middle in case it rejects the middle, because there's a lot that goes on in here. So in case it rejects the middle, I want to take a partial there, and just be safe. So let's hit play. And just to be sure, the middle of that is somewhere around 18. So I would be looking close to that, but I would also be watching the price action, right? And I took very small shares of this. I probably would have taken a little bit more, since it's a little bit of a lower price stock. So we're just kind of watching. We can put it on 10 times speed. And we're getting close to 18. I'll take it a little partial here, just in case, because a lot of people are trying to usually either get out before the whole dollar number, and as you can see, it kind of pushes down. So I would just take a partial there to be safe, and then we'll just fast forward this, see what happens. All right, so in this case, because of where I got in here, I definitely would have been stopped out. But it does consolidate here, so that you could have considered maybe another entry later. But had I entered right as the volume came in, as it bounced off that level and got a better entry, I still would be in this thing. So for the sake of storytelling, let's pretend that I got the entry that I would have probably hit in at had I been trading live. Also, this was on 5 times speed, so it was a little bit harder to catch it. Had it been at the normal speed, probably could have clicked in and hit in right as that happened. But we'll just take that, and then let's just speed it up a little bit more to see what else happens. So again, like I said, if you did happen to get in late, or if you missed this entry altogether, don't chase it up here, right? Because you're so far away from this level. Let it come back, let it set up an intraday range somewhere, right? So this is setting up a range. Let it break that range, and then you can play off of that. So right now, we can see this is a pullback. It's consolidating here above this level, right? And then we want to see a break of the range before we play it again to the top side. So in this case, had I got in down here and still been in this, and if I had partialed up here, and if I had decided to hold all the way to break even, but then saw this happen and a break out of this, I could have added into this trade. So that could have been a play. Or, if you prefer to just play the momentum very quickly in the morning, you could have just played this and got all out. It really just depends on your style. But yeah, so kind of just playing the volume off of these levels and just see how it goes. So we're back at 18, near 18. We can see if it, gets past it. Speed it up a little bit more. So we broke 18, we're up to 1820. We've definitely passed the midline of that higher time frame range, and we could get all out here. We could wait for the top of it. I think the top is like 1850-ish, 1830-ish. Yeah, I think for me, that's close enough. I'm just gonna sell and get all out of my position. So I obviously didn't make a lot of money because I took only 50 shares of this, but green is green, right? So that is how you play the volume off of a level. So you want to wait for the volume to come in, see how the price reacts, see what direction the volume pushes you in, and then you can take your range trades. All right, guys, if you have any questions, hit me up, and I will catch you later. Peace.